Somebody once said, adversity builds character. Now, I have to firmly disagree with that. Adversity doesn't build character, but adversity will reveal character. Mayor Pete Buttigieg just sort of rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Mayor Pete from South Bend, Indiana, the smooth, polished, silver-tongued politician who wants to be the next POTUS of the United States representing the Democrat Party. And of course, he immediately became the media darling because he's gay. And we would have our first gay president. No, actually, Mayor Pete said, statistically speaking, we've had other gay presidents. They just weren't out. Okay, so we would have our first out gay president, and we would have a first dude husband in the White House taking you on the Jackie Kennedy, and here's how we decorated for Christmas. Hi, it's Pastor Marty from the Afternoon Drive. Mayor Pete suspended his campaign to go back to South Bend because there was a police-involved shooting in the city of South Bend, and a black man ended up dead. Now, remember, Al Sharpton met with Mayor Pete and said, you got to be transparent. Be transparent and you'll have the vote. Well, Mayor Pete, in trying to be transparent, had about 20 protesters in front of City Hall, and he went out to engage them with the TV cameras rolling. And all I can say is, Mayor Pete got beat.
Can you say to us today, in front of all these cameras, that Black Lives Matter?
Did you just ask me if Black Lives Matter?
Yes,
we want to hear you
Black
say it.
Lives Matter.
Of course, Black Lives Matter.
Then fire your car. Are you a racist? What about a black life? What matters about a black life to you, Mayor Pete? What matters about a black life to you? Answer that for in just mother.
The same thing that matters to me about my own.
Answer that.
I do not have evidence that there has been discipline for racist behavior in the case of Oregon.
And you running for president?
But if
You truly running for president and you black people to vote for you? You running for president and you want black people to vote for you? That's a downfall. That's not gonna happen.
I'm not asking for your vote.
You ain't gonna get it either.
Wait a second. Did that really just happen? Did he just say, hey, I'm not looking for your vote? And did she actually respond, and you ain't getting it?
I'm not asking for your vote.
You ain't gonna get it either.
Oh, classic slam in your face, Mayor Pete. Now, here's the issue here. You could sit there and think, well, you know, Pastor, now come on, let's be fair here. In that type of situation, no politician handles it smoothly. It's 20 people on a lawn, and he can't handle them. How is he going to be able to handle anything on the big stage? You know, like foreign policy, dictators who want to try to blow us up, things like a regime of mullahs in Iran, a rogue dictator in North Korea, Mr. Putin himself. You can't handle some upset citizens in South Bend, Indiana. How on earth is anybody supposed to believe that you are able and ready to handle big crises and big problems? And see, here again, it's the Democrats with style over substance. When Mayor Pete threw his hat in the ring, immediately he became the media darling because, again, he's gay. Not because of his qualifications. He's gay. He was on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and he's been on The View, and he's been on all these programs where he gets easy lobbed in softball questions, and he can appear to be, you know, very thoughtful and careful in his answers, and even a little bit witty and spontaneous, and cracking jokes about Mike Pence, you know, and just able to kind of come across as, wow, we like him. He would be like an awesome next door neighbor. He should be president. but he basically just cooked his presidential aspects by appearing very, very inept and small. He was not able to contain 20 people. I mean, this is like when Black Lives Matter took over a Bernie event back in 2016 and basically pushed him off the platform at his own meeting, and they took over the microphone. Don't think that there were not Democrats who watched that and went, And Mayor Pete, you look very small. You look very incapable of handling real problems. Now, Donald Trump, on the other hand, though he gets mocked and made fun of and vilified by the mainstream media day in and day out, we understood this was a man who wrote Art of the Deal, Art of the Comeback. This was a guy that could negotiate. This was a guy that could tell somebody where to stuff it and walk away from a deal. This was a guy who could not just talk tough, be tough, and make tough decisions. And not apologize for it, not the next day come out and try to do a take back, but actually double down on it and just know within his own instinct and ability, he's right in the decision he made, he's going to stick to it, and that's it. Like it, lump it, or hit the highway. That's a leader. That's a leader. That's why Kim Jong-un of North Korea doesn't test nuclear rockets anymore. That's why the mullahs, even after Trump played them by basically saying, well, you know, maybe it was some rogue general that launched this message that they don't have control of. We have control of all of our generals. We ordered that strike. But they quickly understood that this president, when he says, look, I don't want the casualties. I don't want another war in the Middle East. But you keep it up, and the effects that I will rain down on you will be devastating. And they believe him. He did wipe out, he did eliminate, he did absolutely obliterate and decimate ISIS. Something Barack Obama failed to do in 8 years. But again, he and Joe Biden were scandal-free. They could talk tough, they just couldn't deliver on anything. And now Mayor Buttigieg, I call him Buttigieg, got his butt kicked on national television. I just love that. I don't want your vote. Well, that's good, because you ain't going to get it. I mean, can you imagine, though, actually saying, I don't want your vote. I don't want your vote. Okay, so CNN, their panel, they had to discuss this. And Ed Rendell, who is the big Democratic honcho from Pennsylvania, he has the answer. The man that will do more for the black community than any other politician.
The answer is African Americans, like all Americans, have the right to respect that political parties will do things to benefit them and to deal with their problems. And I will tell you that there is no person in American life who has a better record over the last 40 years of dealing with civil rights issues, of dealing with justice issues, than Joe Biden has. Joe Biden has done more to combat racism and has done more to create opportunity for African Americans than anybody else.
You're kidding, right? Joe Biden? Really? That's what's going to save you the black vote? Joe Biden? I know you want to live in your delusional world there, Ed, that Donald Trump is this incredible racist who has, you know, wiped out the black community, but the lowest unemployment numbers ever for black Americans under Donald J. Trump. The economy has never done better for black Americans than under Donald J. Trump. But again, Ed, this is why there is such a division within the Democratic Party. The real reason why the young progressives want nothing to do with the old guard Democrats. You're just going to roll out this old warhorse because he's been a true party man, even though his track record on race is abysmal. This is a guy that, again, it's just now coming out again about his real race record. When he didn't want to desegregate schools through busing. And when he was asked, do you think you owe an apology? I owe an apology for nothing. Sometimes you have to reach across and work with people you don't want to work with. That was in reference to his working with segregationist senators. I didn't like them. Bernie Sanders said that's a bunch of hogwash. He did more than just work with them. He sang their praises. And the same network that's now shilling for Biden, apparently this is their way of saying, Joe, we're sorry that a couple days ago we actually told the truth about you and your record on race.
What's less known is how he followed the lead of some of the Senate's most fervent segregationists. In a series of never-before-published letters reviewed by CNN, the strength of Biden's opposition to busing comes into sharper focus. On March 25, 1977, Biden wrote, "My bill strikes at the heart of the injustice of court-ordered busing. It prohibits the federal courts from disrupting our educational system." Biden sought and received support from Mississippi Senator James Eastland, the Democratic chairman of the Judiciary Committee, and a leading symbol of Southern resistance to desegregation. He frequently spoke of blacks as, quote, an inferior race. Biden reflected on that era earlier this year.
They're a bunch of racists. There was, James O. Eastland, Mississippi, Strom Thurmond, and so on. There were 9 guys who were in the caucus that were, I ran against in the civil rights movement.
But he did not say that Eastland and others were partners on several of Biden's anti-busing bills. On June 30th, 1977, Biden wrote, "Dear Mr. Chairman, I want you to know that I very much appreciate your help during this week's committee meeting in attempting to bring my anti-busing legislation to a vote." Then in 1978, Biden again asked Eastland to put his anti-busing bill before the full Senate, writing, "Your participation in floor debate would be welcome."
Yeah. So when Joe Biden says, well, sometimes you have to work with people you disagree to get things done, what was it that he wanted these segregationist centers to help him with? Oh, yeah, keep the schools segregated. Real good. Class act there, Joe. I like what Lionel said over at Lionel Nation. It's about time for Joe to step out and step down and say he just wants to spend time with family. Because the progressives, they are not going to let this go. And Buttigieg, or however you say your name, you might just as well follow Joe right on out the door. Your political career is done. That's it. That's this rant. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, please share this channel so that other people can become a part of the Pastor Marty rants, ravings, and, may I add, flawless reasonings. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Smack the bell so you get notification of my next rant.